Zoey and Koko, Bedtime Adventures. Hey there, I'm Zoey, and this is Koko, my stuffed puppy. Well, he's mostly stuffed. Every night, when the lights go out and the house gets quiet, something pretty awesome happens. Koko and I go on adventures. Real ones, not just in my dreams. Some kids think bedtime is boring, but for me, it's when the real fun begins. Want to hear what happened last night? You're gonna love this one. Mom tucked me in, gave me a kiss, and said,
"Sweet dreams, sweetheart. Sleep tight."
I said, "Night, Mummy," but between you and me, I wasn't even close to sleepy. As soon as she closed the door, Koko, my stuffed puppy, blinked, stretched, and came to life, tail wagging and all. That meant only one thing: adventure time. I reached under my bed and felt around for the one thing that starts it all: our glowing adventure book. My fingers brushed the cover, and I pulled it out slowly. It always feels a little warm, like it knows we're about to use it. Koko and I sat on the floor, just the two of us, with the book resting between us. I opened it carefully, turning one glowing page after another, until I found the perfect adventure for the night. The night the socks went missing. I looked at Koko. He wagged his tail, like he already knew it was going to be a wild one. The second I touched the page, it started to glow, then spin. Slow at first, then faster and faster, until everything around us blurred. Suddenly, Koko and I were swept off the floor. We got sucked right into the book. We landed in the middle of GnomeLand, and it looked like a giant storybook. There were little mushroom houses with red tops and white spots, tiny doors, and socks hanging from clotheslines. The grass was super green, the sky was super blue, and flowers were popping up everywhere, like they were waving hello. It was the cutest, craziest place I'd ever seen. And yep, I knew something weird was going on. Gnomes were running around everywhere, shouting things like, "My sock is gone! Just one! The sock knitting festival is tomorrow!" Suddenly, this super excited gnome with big round goggles popped out of nowhere. He pointed and yelled,
"You have a dog! You must be detectives!"
Koko barked, and I said, "Close enough." Before I could even say anything, another gnome came up. He had a big red beard, a twisty hat, and goggles too. He smiled and said,
"Hi there, I'm Nibble, and please excuse Bill. He gets a little excited when visitors show up."
Bill was still bouncing around, like he'd had 5 cupcakes for breakfast. Nibble leaned closer and whispered,
"The truth is, something weird is going on here."
I tilted my head. "Weird? How?" He looked around and said,
Every night, one sock disappears from every gnome's clothesline.
"Just one?" I asked. He nodded.
Not both, just one. Every single time.
Koko's ears perked up, and I lit up inside. A sock mystery? We've got this. Don't worry, we're gonna solve it. Koko gave a little bark, like he was already on the case. Mystery unlocked. That night, we set up camp behind a big mushroom. The stars were out, the lantern was glowing, and everything was quiet. Too quiet. Then, something zipped by, a glowing blur. It snatched one sock, then another, and then gone. Just like that, the sock snatcher had struck again. "Go, Koko, go!" He bolted after it, and I ran right behind him. We chased the blur through the gnome market, past a jam stand, over a snail, under a flying basket of yarn. Then it dove into a glowing cave. We followed it through tunnels, down winding paths, and finally, we found it. A baby dragon, tiny, fuzzy, sleeping in a giant nest, made of gnome socks. Koko growled softly, But I looked closer. The baby dragon was shivering. It curled tighter into the socks. Not mean, not stealing, just cold. You weren't being bad. You were just trying to stay warm. Back in the village, I told the gnomes everything. They gasped. One said,
But he's just a baby.
Exactly. He doesn't need to be stopped. He needs a blanket. And that's what we did. The gnomes gathered yarn and thread. Koko helped too, trotting around the village, picking up yarn and dropping it right where it was needed. He was so proud of himself. And we made the biggest dragon blanket ever. It had big rainbow stripes, shiny little buttons all around, and sparkly thread that twinkled like stars. It looked so cozy. I kind of wanted one too. We brought it to the cave. The dragon peeked, saw the blanket, and got so excited. He rushed over and sat right on it with a big happy smile. No more stolen socks, just warm toes and happy gnomes. The next day, festival time. There were rainbow banners, mushroom booths, and music everywhere. Gnomes were dancing, laughing, and playing silly sock games. Everyone was smiling, and the dragon came too. He wore a party hat, wiggled his tail to the music, and even did a little happy dance right in the middle of the village. Then, something magical happened. The air began to shimmer. A soft voice counted down. 4, 3, 2, 1, and whoosh! We were swept up in a glowing swirl and landed right back in bed. The door creaked open. Mom peeked in.
Still awake, Zoe?
Just dreaming, Mummy. Koko looked like a regular stuffed animal again, but I remembered everything, and that's how I ended up helping a bunch of gnomes return their missing socks and make a cozy blanket for a baby dragon. All because I didn't give up, even when things got a little silly or a lot fuzzy. So, if things ever feel confusing or tricky, just keep going. You never know when your own sock adventure might begin. See you next time!